Good afternoon. Welcome to our Lunch and Learn that I changed to something else. I think I called it What's Going On because I feel like Lunch and Learn is boring and people are like, oh, it's work talk. And it's not. It's not. Welcome. Hi. Oh, it's Kristen. Hi, Rhonda Hank. It's so good to see you. Hey, Side Eyes Jess. Good to see you. I love these lunchtime. I love hopping on here for lunchtime because I have to catch up on what I've missed. And so if I'm going to catch up on what I've missed in the world, because there's so many things going on, I'm going to do it with you. So welcome to my channel, Cyberchick Boston. I have a very small, intimate YouTube channel that I love. Started it in October to talk about my family's journey through the cult. Go back and watch if you want to catch up on what our family went through in the Amazon Prime documentary we were part of. And then we've evolved and we have our sister show tonight. Good afternoon, Vivi's Vibrantly. Oh, I saw you guys this morning. Who did you see this morning? And hi, Grammy Kisses. Glad you could make it. Oh, it's Kristen Sars this morning. So yeah, we're just going to catch up. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to lose sight of what's going on with the Epstein files. So we're going to look into that a little bit. We're going to catch up on what's going on with the war. Oh, you saw us all in Kristen's chat. Did we see you? Oh, it's Kristen. I didn't see you. I looked. I even went on my computer to try to type it in. That's okay. Well, don't give up. We're gonna get you taken care of. I will tell you, from the time that Jess will tell someone they're going to be a mod until it actually happens is a week and a half. So we'll get you, girl. We'll get you. I'll just have to send her another text to say, go in. Because as a mod, and I don't know, because I only mod for Jess's channel, and you know me, half the time I don't even show up. I'm always like catching up on replay, but I don't always look at the chat because I'm always busy. Oh, T-Bone is your husband. Oh, Melanie, I'm so thrilled that he recommended me. Tell him I said thank you and we love his support. I know you're from Fort Worth because that's what he types every time he shows up. Hi from Fort Worth, Texas. So welcome to our channel. We're very informal here. We're polite. We actually somehow manage to talk about politics without talking about politics and without being nasty. And we don't do name calling, which is really nice. We're kind of like mature adults here. Don't tell the other people. We want to keep it that way. We're nice. We're mature. As a way of an intro, Melanie, I'm a cybersecurity professional. I've been doing it for 30 years. Also decided to start the channel because my niece was in a cult called Twin Flames Universe. That was the primary goal of doing the channel, but then I liked it. And I thought, why not continue to talk about other things that we can do? And I always hope to be kind of informative and, but also learn from the chat too. So just, it's casual here. It's casual. And I also came across some really interesting articles that I want to share with you. Whoa. I think you're forgetting about Zach. And Zach is our mascot. You'll see him in the chat as Prince of Wales. So funny. So welcome to the channel. We did it yesterday. We're going to do it until the good news, bad news. I mean, I hate being at war, but the international travel is currently on pause. So there's no trip to Israel. There's no, I have a trip to London in June, but that's too far out to see. Hopefully the war is over by June, but you know, you just never know how these are going to go. Hi, Cheryl with an S. Good to see you. This is the first time that I've been on live for so long without one family member popping on. That's a miracle, isn't it? We've got 1,253 subs. So thank you. Hold on. That deserves a, hold on, let me do. I absolutely hate when people do this, by the way, but I'm going to do it. Oh my gosh, I hate, because I always have earbuds in. So when I'm cleaning or chopping and someone's like, no offense, Will, I know you're probably not on here, but I can't do your super chats because I have to shut your channel off as soon as there's a super chat because it just goes right through me. Oh, Nolene. No, she's in Dubai. I didn't even think of that. Hey, Snippets, how are you? I can't go to class this week. I signed up for all the classes and my knee. I don't know if it's something I did walking in the snow. I did slip on Sunday, but it didn't feel like it was my knee, but I missed our classes, Snippet. She's stuck in Dubai. That's so scary. I know the UA is trying to get everybody out, doing their best. As a matter of fact, let me see if I've got an update on that. I was just looking at that. I know someone who is part of a company that I help is they have financial people stuck in Dubai. Let me see. So I was looking to see like our flights getting out. People are starting to leave Dubai. The UA has special limited. I mean, they are I'll give the United Arab Emirates a lot of kudos here. They're doing everything they can to support people. So if you can't fly, they're getting them hotels, meals. They're helping rebook. They're really stepping up because they don't want to be only reliant on oil, right? Dubai wants people to come in and they want tourism. And so if they're not able to provide, people aren't going to go there if their hotels are being bombed. So it's really critical. And they're handling it the best they can, There's a sister. Oh my gosh, Snippets, you have Ruby. When was she due home? You know what? I'm gonna text you. I'm out of touch because I haven't been to class, so I don't know any of the details. You have Ruby. Oh my gosh, if you need help, let me know. Hi, Sister Deb. Rest up, Sister Deb. We have sisters tonight, salty sisters. Melanie says, I have a colleague that's been shelter in place since last week. Oh, in Bahrain. No commercial flights yet. Yeah, and no one, you just didn't expect this, right? If you went over there, that's not something you would typically run into. Oh, that's scary. A sister is here. Okay, so welcome everybody to your lunch and learn. We're going to do two things initially. We're going to do Epstein files and the war. And I'm going to choose which one we do first because I feel like it. We're going to go check on Aaron. Oh, Aaron, how will we ever look at you the same now that you're not part of our family? He's so young though. I haven't seen Nikki and Maddie join one of these. Probably a good thing. Maybe that. Okay, so there's a couple of clips that I want to play. They're short. Yeah. Oh, it's Kristen. You know me. It's light topics. So we're going to get our information together in a safe place. We're going to get updated on the latest with the war. We like Aaron. Aaron used to be a Republican. The last presidential election, he did vote for Harris. He's up front with it. He's brilliant, went to college at 14, graduated law school as a lawyer at 18, joined a law firm for 5 years, and now he does he's a journalist, an independent journalist, and we respect him, and he's super smart. So what I try to do on the show is to avoid like super crazy right or crazy left. Let's just try to get our information. It's really hard to do that. I actually started to listen to Al Jazeera. Is that how you say it? I'm not saying it right. Al Jazeera, and the English portion of it. I know they're owned by Quora, but I feel like they're giving, every news, you can't trust the news outlet, but they seem to be giving us some pretty reliable sources. There's a niece. Hey, Liz. I'm sorry. I'm so distracted. Liz, get back to work, your mom says. LOL. Okay, hold on. Let's go. Where was I? I'm going to listen to Aaron for a bit. Let's get caught up. I already picked, he has a bunch of shorts. So I picked out 2 shorts that I thought would be good for us. And then we'll go to a longer video of his. And then we're going to go to the Epstein files. So I did a little, I don't want to say I got my shit together, but I did a little prep work, which is really good. So Okay, this was last night, I think. Everything's from within the past 24 days. There's just so much information, and honestly, not all of it. If I don't care about it, I'm going to assume you don't care about it. But the things that I care about, I want you to, I want you to know about.
We have some big news this evening. A possible civil war is brewing within MAGA over strikes on Iran as Donald Trump is firing back at some of MAGA's biggest influencers, Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, who have questioned Donald Trump's war in Iran. All while we're learning this evening from MS Now that the FBI fired specialized FBI agents who worked on Donald Trump's classified documents case for Jack Smith, where they had a special focus on Iran days before the war in Iran. First, according to Rachel Bade, in a phone call with her, he said, Donald Trump said that Kelly, quote, ought to study her history book a little bit when asked about the criticism on her show. Tucker Carlson's criticism has, quote, no impact on me, said Trump. He said, I think MAGA is Trump. MAGA is not the other two, referring to Kelly and Carlson. Meanwhile, the FBI is a bit short-handed this evening as Kash Patel in the last week fired about a dozen agents who specifically worked on intelligence operations related to Iran. He fired them because they worked with Jack Smith on the classified documents case. And well, now we're at war with Iran. Spread the word, follow for more.
Okay, I love the short, quick ones. So I know, isn't he so smart? So first part of that is, I'll always be upfront with you, like facts, gossip, conspiracy theory. I don't really care about Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, except that wasn't on my bingo card, that they wouldn't be MAGA all the way to the end. But they don't want war. You know, the true Republicans, the diehard Republicans, they don't want war. They run on peace campaign, and they don't like that they didn't know about it. So I'm shocked at that. I also want to I also want to focus on the FBI agents that were fired. So that's critical. That's where I'm like, oh, because that is national security. That has to do with intelligence, and that's something that we'll dig into. Okay. Oh, Sade just says I'm getting good at this. I am. I'm very comfortable now with the sharing. I mean, look, I'm going to go on mute and forget it once in a while, but I do that in a meeting. So why not? Life happens. Okay, let's get back to the next one that we're going to see, which
we have some major news right now. Oil prices continue to surge.
He always says it's major news, by the way, which I don't. So Aaron, not everything is a major news just because you're reporting on it.
Surge, which means gas prices will continue to surge as the Iran war progresses. Meanwhile, stocks in the United States of America are set to plunge today as fears of a lengthy war grow. Meanwhile, the United States government has urged Americans to get out of over a dozen countries in the Middle East. The only problem is they're not willing to help Americans in all instances. The United States Embassy in Jerusalem says, quote, the U.S. Embassy is not in a position at this time to evacuate or directly assist Americans in departing Israel. The following is provided for your information as you make your own security plans. And then it provides some information about shuttles, but they're not willing to help right now. Why? Because attacks across the Middle East are escalating. Iranian strikes are escalating on American interests. We have some big news this evening. We have some major news right now. Oil prices continue to not in a position at this time to evacuate or directly assist Americans in departing Israel. The following is provided for your information as you make your own security plans. And then it provides some information about shuttles, but they're not willing to help right now. Why? Because attacks across the Middle East are escalating. Iranian strikes are escalating on American interests in the region. American strikes are set to escalate fast today and tomorrow and this weekend. And it all comes as a nuclear watchdog tells NBC News, the head of the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, it has seen zero evidence of Iranian program to create nuclear weapons. Spread the word, follow for more.
It hasn't seen. Okay. So you can't touch your mouse when the shorts. I don't like shorts for that reason, but I like shorts because it gives you really quick snippets. Hey, Zach, we were talking about you. Our mascot is here. Everyone say hi to Zach. Hi, Zach. Grammy kisses. I know the heating oil prices are going to go up. It's a fact. So what was that? Oh, so yeah, the traveling in Israel right now in Jerusalem. So just so you know, when you go to Israel, even on a good, you know, time, like when there's no, well, there's always war in the Middle East, but when U.S. is not at war, even when you go on a business trip, big companies always provide the security and the escorts from the airport to where you're going, just to make sure you get there safely. So imagine now, in a time of war, the travel advisory is no, you just don't travel there right now. Okay, now we're going to watch his.
We have some news right now. Days before.
I'm not there. Okay, hold on. Calm down. We're going to go to his videos now. There. And I'm not going to watch them all. There were two that I wanted to watch. Hold on. The last two. Yeah, this was it. Okay. Hold on.
You all at the SEI. This evening, the Trump administration is facing a crisis of conscience on two fronts. The first, the war in Iran, which the public is already souring on, and election prospects look grim for the Republican Party in 2026. And the second, the Epstein files, which seem to never go away, no matter how much the Trump administration wants them to. This evening, the depositions of Hillary and Bill Clinton were released and raised new questions about the president's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, all while Trump is trying to control the narrative over the war in Iran. And today we learned that 6 service members died, likely due to failed proper planning on the part of the United States military. Major developments right now. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. The more you like.
I think what he's referring to, and I don't mean to misspeak. So I'm just going to say, I read somewhere that the U.S. forgot to turn off their tracking devices for the soldiers that landed. So I think that's what he's referring to, which is just horrific.
The more people see this, even if you don't like the news, and subscribe to my Substack, click the link below to support my work. I can only do this with your support right now. I want to begin by talking about a crisis of conscience regarding.
I do want to say I downloaded Substack and I subscribed for an annual subscription, Aaron. Even though you're not going to be in my family, I'm using your content, I'm reading your content, and I appreciate you. So I did do that. You're welcome.
Iran. The president pressed ahead with military strikes against Iran, despite private warnings from senior aides that the escalation could be difficult to contain and carry political risks for Republicans in November's midterm elections. The large-scale attack has drawn near unanimous praise from foreign policy hawks in Washington, but White House officials worry that the foreign policy gambit may derail Republican chances of holding on to control of Congress at a time when voters are very war-wary and are more concerned about cost of living than conflicts abroad. Before the strikes, Trump repeatedly sought briefings on how the military action could allow him to project strength domestically, according to senior White House officials. Top aides cautioned that U.S. intelligence did not provide a clear guarantee that escalation could be avoided once strikes began. Trump ultimately sided with those who believed decisive action would show him as a strong leader, even if it carried long-term risks, and the risks are great. Officials expect that risks are going to be part of this slow burn effect, driven by the duration of the conflict, scope of retaliation, and number of American casualties and impact on gas prices. On the latter, gas prices will be going up starting today. The Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the world's oil is moved through, has been shut down within the past several hours by the Iranian government. And the Iranian government says it will be targeting anyone who tries to remove oil from the region, saying that no oil will be allowed out of the Middle East under their watch. That means oil prices will rise globally and gas prices will rise here at home. As far as American casualties go, a latest CENTCOM update has confirmed that the number of American casualties in this war has risen to 6. And when we're learning about the circumstances around the death of these 6 soldiers, it gets even worse for the administration. Because according to CNN, the 6 U.S. service members who were killed as a result of a direct Iranian strike, believed to be a drone or some type of projectile that penetrated air defenses It hit the center of a fortified but makeshift tactical operations center in Kuwait. It's a triple wide trailer used as an office space that they turned into a makeshift operations center for US troops. There were no warning signs, no evacuation alert, and the explosion blew out the walls and left parts of the structure burning for hours. It initially left some troops unaccounted for until their remains were later uncovered. These service members died in combat, and that number is only set to rise. Because according to Secretary of State Marco Rubio, this is just the beginning.
The second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why. They're suffering a tremendous amount of damage. Honestly, again, I'm not going to give away the details of our tactical efforts, but the hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military. The next phase will be even more punishing on Iran than it is right now. Someone was screaming, how long will it take? I don't know how long it'll take. We have objectives. We will do this as long as it takes to achieve those objectives, and we will achieve those objectives. The world will be a safer place when we're done with this operation.
Harder strikes are to come on Iran. And when asked why now, I want you to listen to what he had to say.
First is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond and respond against the United States. The orders had been delegated down to the field commanders. It was automatic, and in fact, it bared to be true, because in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties.
We knew there would be an Israeli action. We knew that Iran would respond, and so we struck first. Seemingly saying that the reason the United States struck when they did was because Israel was going to launch a strike. Not because Iran was going to launch a strike, but rather Israel was going to launch a strike on Iran.
All right, that doesn't make sense to me. Let's pause there. Does that make sense? So what Rubio is saying, and this is like the third different strategy that I've heard, a third different reason we went to war. He's saying Israel was going to go after Iran, and then Iran was going to strike us. So we wanted to preemptively go and strike. So we're fighting Israel's war. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be. You know how I feel about the Iranian regime. I want to see them destroyed. The more I see and read about it, the more devastating I am. I'm not saying I don't support it. I just want to understand it. And I don't understand it right now. I don't understand that.
Iranian interests. Iran was going to respond targeting American interests. And so the United States launched strikes. That is a crisis of conscience for the administration because it cannot get a narrative straight when it comes to the American public. At the same time, the White House is facing a secondary issue.
What I said.
The Epstein files, which seem to never go away. And this evening, newly released depositions of Hillary and Bill Clinton raise questions about when Donald Trump ended his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and how Trump ended his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
As far as you recall, President Trump characterized the nature of the ending of their friendship as being solely due to the real estate.
That's what he said.
Thank you.
Solely due to the real estate. That's an issue for the White House. Why? Because Donald Trump has long characterized the ending of their relationship not due to real estate, but rather to the way Jeffrey Epstein treated girls and women at Mar-a-Lago. Someone isn't telling the truth, whether it's Bill Clinton or Donald Trump, and we're digging in to find out more. I'm still reviewing many of the depositions. Now, these two issues are not going away for this White House, especially as we enter election.
Here, Aaron. That's what I said at the beginning. I'm going to continue to do, I didn't know we talked about the Epstein files. We're going to continue to do war updates, but I have something else later on that talks more about the Epstein files. So I'm with you. Aaron and I are very aligned. Hi, Maddie. Maddie, this was going to be either your husband or your brother-in-law, but bad news. He's married. Sorry.
In season, first elections, primary elections are tomorrow night in Texas, where I'll have live coverage for you and more. And that's why I spoke with SEIU President April Verrett this afternoon. She is leading the charge for one of the largest labor unions in the entire country. I want you to hear what she had to say about this year's elections, organizing, and more. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe to my Substack. Click the link below to support my work. Here's my interview with April. I am super excited today to be joined by April Verrett, who's the president of one of the largest labor unions in the country, SEIU. April, so good to have you today. I really want to jump right in because I think a lot of folks are.
I have to be completely honest. I don't know what SEIU is. I don't know April. This is exciting. I like to learn new things. We're going to figure it out together.
Very
I like her glasses.
Concerned about the midterms, about 2028, electoral outlook. Talk to me. What is the SEIU doing to mobilize for candidates up and down the ballot across America?
Look, everybody has a right to be super concerned because often it feels like the world is a dumpster fire, especially if you are working hard every single day to make ends meet, to keep a roof over your head, to keep food on your table, right? Your life is centered around the so-called affordability crisis. When I was growing up, my mama used to just say, do I have to rob Peter to pay Paul, right? And we're talking about dollars and cents. And so with respect to the midterms, we are making sure working people are able to connect the dots about their wages, how hard it is to make ends meet, and what is happening in Washington, D.C. and state capitals all across the country. People care about their own lives, and that relates to having to build an economy that actually works for working people.
Okay, so SEIU represents 2 million workers, mainly healthcare, janitors, public service, airport workers, security. They negotiate wages. So I appreciate you. We're going to skip this and go to, because I want to stay focused on the war and Epstein files, and I'm on lunch break, so I have to hurry up along. And I'm in control. So we're going.
And well, Senator Mark Warner. We have some major developments this morning. Gas prices have surged, their highest surge, 11 cents overnight in months because of the war in Iran. It comes as the president of the United States is attacking those within his own MAGA coalition, including Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson, for speaking out against him and his decision to go to war in Iran. Oil and gas prices rise. The stock market is falling. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem has told Americans in Israel.
LOL, side-eye Jess. I know, I just sort of glanced a quick ChatGPT and I'm like, I don't want to go there. Because again, I'm trying to I'm in the middle, man. I just want the U.S. Constitution to be protected at all costs. I want facts, and I want a civil union to live in. It's not a lot to ask. Is that a lot to ask for? I don't want pedophiles to be in power in any political forum, Democrat or Republican, and I don't want it to be the executives at businesses or our federal, FBI or any intelligence agency to be corrupt. Is that a lot to ask for? It feels like it's a lot to ask.
He can't help you. And Donald Trump is saying, well, we have enough munitions for a possible forever war. At the same time, the FBI director fired numerous agents who worked on Iran counterintelligence. And well, Senator Mark Warner, who I'll be speaking with later this afternoon, the senior Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, says there is zero evidence to justify the fact the United States of America struck Iran because there was no evidence to suggest that Iran was going to strike America first. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm working around the clock. Subscribe to my Substack. Click the link below to support my work. TikTok nuked and censored one of my videos on this morning. So we're doubling down, tripling down here. And I need your help to grow. So subscribe if you can. Let's jump right into it. This morning, gas prices. The average price for a gallon of gas jumped 11 cents overnight to about $3.11 in the United States, according to AAA. That is the largest one-night increase we've seen in months, and it's the first time gas is over $3 a gallon in the United States on average in months. Comes after just 2 weeks ago at the State of the Union address, the President of the United States falsely claimed that gas prices were at $2 a gallon on average across the country. Well, that number has risen to $3.11.
It's crazy. It depends where you live. I mean, I can tell you in the Northeast, our prices are really high, but when I travel, I'm always amazed at the huge differences, which is kind of strange, right? Because why it's anyways. Side eyes Jess, I know I liked your comment about it's debatable who's more trustworthy, Clinton or Trump. I think we get rid of them all. They're all old, they're all evil. Let's start with new, fresh faces. You know, let's get the errands of the world across both political lines. We need a fresh start.
Sense. And it comes as a civil war within MAGA is possibly brewing over what is happening in Iran. According to Rachel Bade, in a phone call with her, Donald Trump hit back at MAGA world critics over what he is doing in Iran, including Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson. Quote, Megyn Kelly ought to study her history book a little bit, he said when asked about the criticism she has lobbied on him. Tucker's criticism has, quote, no impact on the president.
I think.
He says that MAGA is with him. I think that MAGA is Trump. MAGA is not the other two, referring to Kelly and Carlson. MAGA wants to see our country thrive and be safe, and MAGA loves what I'm doing, every aspect of it. Iran, he said, is a, quote, detour that we have taken in order to keep our country safe and other countries safe, frankly. And it comes as Trump is saying that we have enough stockpile of munitions for a forever war. The United States munition stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better, as was stated to me today. We have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successfully using just these supplies, which are better than other countries' finest arms. At the highest end, we have a good supply, but are not where we want to be. Much additional high-grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries. Sleepy Joe Biden spent all of his time and our country's money giving everything to P.T. Barnum, Zelensky of Ukraine. Hundreds of billions of dollars worth. And while he gave so much of the super high-end away, he didn't bother to replace it. Fortunately, I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so. The United States is stocked and ready to win big. And he says, Iran wants to talk, but Trump says they're too late. Now, it comes at a precarious time for Americans abroad, because here's what the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem is saying this morning. The U.S. Embassy is not in a position at this time to evacuate or directly assist Americans in departing Israel, and provided information for them to make their own security plans, and goes, this information is provided as a courtesy to those wishing to leave Israel. But here's the deal, folks. Folks cannot leave Israel even if they wanted to, because the United States Embassy is not helping them leave Israel. And when we talk about war, we have to talk about why we're going to war. And Senator Mark Warner, the senior Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, doesn't really have an answer for us.
Let's also be clear. I said before, I've said now, there was no imminent threat to the United States of America by the Iranians. There was a threat to Israel. If we equate a threat to Israel as the equivalent of an imminent threat to the United States, then we are in uncharted territory.
The threat to Israel, if an imminent threat to Israel is an imminent threat to the United States, we are in uncharted territory. I tend to agree. And, well, the administration hasn't really been consistent with their explaining of what this is, whether it's a war or not either.
And we may have casualties. That often happens in war.
I don't know if this is technically a war.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
This isn't a war. We haven't declared war.
The Secretary of Defense, who calls himself the Secretary of War, said today this is a war.
We set the terms of this war from start to finish.
Nobody should classify this as war. It is combat operations.
War is hell and always will be.
Strategic strikes are not war.
I guess they're.
I don't know what that means. Is it war or is it not? This certainly looks like war. Look at a commercial aircraft trying to.
I mean, here's the thing, and I'm going to play something after this that I just found, but don't they have like 3 talking points that every single person should just be reiterating to make the American people feel better that they went to war for these 3 reasons. And then we'd be like, oh, they're all in line. They all have the same point of view. They're all in agreement.
Leave Lebanon.
Looks like a war. I hate seeing these pictures.
A pretty stunning image. And it comes as we're learning that essentially Kash Patel fired a dozen FBI agents and staff last week for their role in the classified documents investigation of Donald Trump. When he did that, he targeted an elite counter-espionage unit that investigates threats from foreign adversaries and specializes in Iran. According to sources that spoke with NBC News, the firings came, as Patel claimed, without evidence that the team of FBI agents who investigated Trump's hoarding of top-secret records at his Mar-a-Lago club had engaged in improper investigative steps. But his gutting of the global espionage unit known as CI-12 also came days before Trump launched Operation Epic Fury, which is a series of bombings that killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. So lots of news right now. Lots of news. We're firing the people that should be investigating threats on the homeland. Gas prices are rising. Stock market is tanking. It looks like there is a MAGA civil war of sorts, possibly brewing. A very busy day today. It's election day in Texas and elsewhere. I'll be covering stuff throughout the day for you. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more and subscribe to my Substack. Click the link below to support my work. I'll have another update for you very soon.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, because I found something I wanted to share, but it's on my phone. So talk amongst yourselves. Our defense secretary had something so so far we've heard 2 or 3 different things.
All right, Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't do this while I'm on stage. I have to remove it. My apologies. Give me YouTube is so funky. All right, let me see this. This is the last war thing that I want to share with you. Because again, I'm just trying to get the talking points. Trying to find out which one it was. I'm going by his tie. When I can't find it, it makes me suspicious, so maybe it's not. I'm verifying my sources. But it's 45 minutes. I just wanted the sound bite. Okay, I'm not going to do it. Change your plans. Bye, Rhonda. Thank you. So I'm looking for where I have it in an article. So I was looking for it on the YouTube where Pete, our defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, said that the Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to earth. And I just found that really concerning to talk about it. And that's especially the Secretary of Defense. Okay, we're going to switch gears now. Oh, by the way, I have my windows open. Does it matter? I know that it throws the lighting off, but I don't like to work in a cave. What's Zach have to say? As long as someone is consistent, we have a conversation. But if, for instance, someone was not ferociously in opposition to Obama's 2000 strikes, yeah, I feel like we just have to represent the middle. You know, there's I don't want it to turn it into like a political discussion. And I hate to name call. I don't like to name call. I think everyone makes mistakes. I think some mistakes are criminal. Some mistakes are, from my point of view, a morality issue. And then there's things that you can just disagree on and be respectful about it, right? But when there's a war or when there's something like the Epstein files, we have to look for facts. And if anybody finds somebody that they find is really reputable, like I have found Aaron, I like Tara, I'm going to show Tara right now. I have different sources that I use. But if you have someone, I tend to like former attorneys. I don't know why. They have pledged to tell the truth in the court of law. Not that all attorneys do this, but you know, they could lose their job if they lie. Sometimes a journalist isn't held accountable or to the same standards. I don't know. I'm really going off, aren't I? But I like to have facts. That's all we're doing here. We're all being calm. We're all getting facts. All right, let's go back to, I don't know. I got out of YouTube and that was stupid. So let me go back to YouTube. I closed out. We're going to go listen. Now we're going to switch gears. If you have time to hang out, we're going to go listen to someone that I like to follow, Tara Palmera. I showed her yesterday. She had a great interview with the journalist from Iran. Now we're going to listen to her on interview someone about the Epstein files. So we're doing a lot today. We have a lot to do. I mean, I can't help it. There's a lot going on, and we have to learn. And we're doing it together because it's scary when we do it separately. And now I'm going to read your chat once I get this.
He's known for shooting people like Cindy Crawford.
Girl, when I saw your piece come out, I audibly gasped. I bet you know more than even you were allowed to publish. It's just crazy. It was a great piece.
Thank you. I think it's interesting in the sense that, here's this huge photographer, Antoine Verglas. He's known for shooting people like Cindy Crawford and Claudia Schiffer and Tyra Banks. And all of a sudden, Melania comes from Slovenia. A little bit late in the game, I think, as a model.
23 or something? 26?
Yeah, 26, yeah. It's a little late in the game. And now she is this huge model, but kind of like nudes. She's not doing like the kind of cute, tasteful girl next door, Cindy Crawford stuff.
Right.
Like this woman is taking all her photos in the buff.
So if you're just jumping in, this is just your middle of the day current event. What's going on? I keep singing that song, What's Going On, ever since I thought of that title for this Lunch and Learn, because I didn't like Lunch and Learn. That's something I would do at work. This is not work. This is us getting informed. So we did the war. Now we're going to do a clip on the Epstein files. If you can hang, great. And then after that, I have a funny, informative article that's a change of pace that I'm going to read if we have time, which we will.
Mm-hmm. And Antoine is the guy who's shooting most of them.
I mean, and one, body, yada, yada, Melania, good for you, girl.
Yes.
I support all of what you did. You had the body for it. You posed, you did the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was something there, though. It was definitely like, okay, so everybody builds their business, I guess, a different way.
Yeah. So she's got, where did it start with? Trump, the Bond GQ art spread on Trump's plane where she's naked except for the fur on the plane.
And they were not together yet, right? At this point?
They were dating. Trump gave the plane. That was the big get, was that Antoine was going to be able to shoot her on the plane, and that would kind of add that allure. And he was already I hate using the word grooming because this story has so much grooming in it, but Trump was.
I'm sorry, as someone who flies a lot, I never think of getting naked on a plane. I mean, I guess I don't fly in luxurious airplanes either, but ew. Side note, sorry.
Already like kind of preparing Melania to take on a higher role as they called her New York's first lady. I mean, they literally would write that in these articles. It was like somebody was already laying down the groundwork for her to one day be first lady, right? So you see that. You see her in Maxim Golf in a bathtub covered just in golf balls. You see her on her Concorde shoe. This isn't a Berglos one, though. Concorde's just another one. She's naked. All you can see is a watch. But, everything that Melania does is like pretty suggestive. She was not the type of model that walked down runways because she, frankly, like you have to be super waifish. And they tend to be like 20-year-old girls. They're not full, like, she's not a full-figured woman in the sense of a full-figured woman, but she clearly had like breast implants or something that made her
more Playboy than runway. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why she's in Sports Illustrated. Another thing that Antoine Berglas shot. He shot her about 12 times. Now, Antoine claims that he wasn't friends with Epstein at the time, but he knew Paolo Zampoli, who knew Epstein at the time. And that was how he was tipped off to Melania through Paolo, because Paolo was. Okay,
I had to just go look because I'm like, what are we listening to? But this does get back to the Epstein files. Hang in there, people. Plus, it's fun. A little gossip. We gotta lighten the mood. I mean, we can't just be all serious and talking about war.
Melania's agent at ID Models, and he was friends with Epstein, and we're supposed to, it's interesting. Yeah. And so it all reminds you about the world that sort of thrust Melania from being kind of this no-name girl from Ljubljana or wherever in Slovenia to what is now the first lady. And I mean, sometimes when I hear her speak, I think it's like almost programmatic, like the way that she talks. It's like she's been preparing for this her whole life to be the first lady in a lot of ways. So
they did a thing. I read this thing about how Donald Trump almost ran for office in like 2008. It was like right after, The Apprentice was really hot, and he's always had this like dream of being the president in terms of like what it means to be a celebrity and like remembered forever as a president. And they did like a fake rally to see how they had staged, like they had gamed out a fake rally to see how it would go with Melania being presented as the first lady and really being cast as this idea of what the next first lady would be. So I find it really interesting that she came here, and a lot of her work was very sexy, very Playboy-esque, very Maxim magazine, very suggestive, like you said. And then they were trying to make this transition for her to then take on what is usually considered a very prudish, very reserved first lady role.
Jackie O.
And I wonder, and maybe I'm just like pilled by how much of the Epstein files I've read. And we have a piece coming out on Steve Bannon and Epstein tomorrow. And the way that Epstein's goals were varied, but one of them was to make sex and the taboo and this idea of like owning women in some ways or casting them to be certain people, not taboo. So I'm like, okay, was Melania part of the plan? Because it was like, we're going to have a first lady with nudes. Like maybe that was part of it. Like this idea that the expectation for the first lady was no longer to be this highly educated, extremely classy, very reserved, American Doll type girl, and now it's like to have the vixen is what.
Right. Well, I think that Trump wanted the vixen. I don't know if you saw this in the Epstein files where Epstein's emailing something about how Trump was going on about what a great piece of what Melania is. I think Trump liked that about her. He liked having he wasn't going to be with a woman who wasn't sexy, right? But I think he also wanted that woman to fit into the role as first lady because listen, I know from covering Trump since I was a cub reporter at the New York Post starting in like 2010 that he always talked to people about wanting to be president. And before that, he wanted to run as a Democrat. Like decades earlier than that, he was meeting with people. This is not some idea that just came into his head recently. He's always wanted to be president. So I think he thought about that when he was looking for his girlfriend that he would come out with, obviously.
Marla Maples wouldn't have been a good first lady. I think Ivana Trump would have been a great first lady. You want to talk about somebody who knew how to run a business or could have kept up that kind of like classy, like educated lady thing. She would have been great.
She is brilliant. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. But I think they had a very tumultuous relationship.
Yeah, he wanted the Melania. It's so interesting that he wanted the first lady to not be American for how incredibly racist and xenophobic he is against all other immigrants. That his first lady, his like picture of what should represent women in America is a Slovenian immigrant.
Well, he's also now expanded visas to people from South Africa, presumably white people, because he likes the way they look. And that's why he likes people from Denmark and from the Scandinavian countries. It's like, okay, just tell us what you really want. And remember the girl from Kazakhstan and Colombia who got her, who was arrested, and then apparently Mamdani showed a picture of her because she was hot, and he was like, okay,
yeah,
cool, let her go. So yeah, I think you can stay as long as you look the part or you're hot enough for the president. But back to Melania, she's being photographed by Antoine, and this is around the same time she's trying to get a visa, a green card. She ends up getting one. We don't know. Antoine says it wasn't through her.
The genius,
the genius visa, the Einstein, the Einstein visa for people with incredible skills. But Antoine did help Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, Karina Shuliak, obtain a visa, a short-term visa.
Right, with the lesbian marriage.
No, I don't think it was a lesbian marriage.
She married a woman, didn't she? It was like...
Oh, that might be, but this is not what Antoine did for them. Antoine just got her a temporary visa by helping her find lodging in St. Bart's, as one does.
Right. She goes on to marry a woman because it was Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend. He certainly wasn't going to have her marry a man, and he wasn't going to marry her and take that on. So she married a woman, so that it was like, total marriage fraud.
Yes. Okay, let's keep going, though, with this. So Antoine, last time he photographed Melania's for Haute Living, 2011. Unclear if they remained in contact afterwards. But he's certainly in that whole Paolo Zampoli world. Paolo is obviously, I think he's an ambassador, been twice an ambassador in the Trump administration. And so, but after Jeffrey Epstein goes to jail, and he comes out of jail, he's hiring Antoine to do day shoots for him, presumably of nudes, according to the files, in which he says we won't need styling because they're nudes. He claims they weren't. But then Antoine sent him black and white nudes, according to files. He said that they're all famous nudes. And he says there are no victims. And I'm adding in all of the things that he says to be as precise as possible. And there are a number of other things that they exchange that are concerning, like 72 files that are all blanked out of pictures that 65 files that are all blanked out that we've never seen. And, Epstein helps his son to try to get an internship. His son is now an equity trader. But probably the most disturbing email of them all in the many exchange between Epstein and, including actually an ask from Woody Allen to help find a girl from 20 to 24 to be in one of his movies. Okay. The worst email of them all is an email that Epstein has forwarded that was originally sent by Antoine Verglas about scopoline. And I think we have to explain that to everyone.
Yes, we talked about this also. Scopoline, it creates a super roofie, essentially. Now, it can be used for motion sickness. There's like a very small amount of scopoline that gets used in motion sickness patches. But when you overdose on it, or you are sort of like, making up your own doses, it is a drug. It's called Angel Trumpet on the streets, I found out. That removes your inhibitions. It makes you extremely directable, almost as if you're hypnotized. And it's sort of like Arrested Development style. It was a real forget-me-not. You don't remember the things that you said. Now, I thought it was interesting that Jeffrey Epstein be interested in cultivating these plants, not just to abuse women or to get them to remove their inhibitions and do whatever he wanted, but certainly this could be used on business people also. This could
National security. It's the first thing I thought of, scopoline. I'd never heard of it. When they started talking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if he's using that while he's with political allies?
Be used on anybody that we're trying to control for a period of time.
You can blow it into their face. That's the crazy thing. It is that easy to administer. You can just blow it into someone's face. It makes you childlike. Eliminates free will. It is considered it's a lethal plant. It's lethal as well. Like you said, when administered properly, it can be used to counter motion sickness. But what he sent this article about it was all the scary ways. I mean, it was a Daily Mail article, and somehow it ended up in Jeffrey Epstein's inbox. Meanwhile, the derivative, the plant that you get scopoline from, it's called a trumpet plant. And according to Epstein's emails, he kept inquiring about the trumpet plant twice in the Epstein files that we've seen so far from his manager in the Virgin Islands to ask, how are the trumpet plants?
Yeah,
What's
like
going
he
on?
had
Where's
access.
trumpet? Like, he's growing this plant. Now,
Right.
granted, they are beautiful bell plant, and some people put them in their gardens.
Tara does have all the tea. I love Tara. She is a journalist. I know usually I go for like a attorney background or something, but she is a dual citizenship from America and Poland. She has a lot of major global event and U.S. presidential coverage that she focuses on. She has a reputation for being really tenacious, and she's got a good political analysis. I think she has something on Substack. I don't know what it's called. I'll look it up because I think it's important to know. She definitely used to be in DC, and I don't know where she graduated from. I don't know the details on her, but I like her. I just like her style.
But I've also heard people say that, like, we don't want them in our gardens because they are so dangerous.
Yeah.
Now, this is not to say that Melania Trump was administered trumpet plants or anything like that. And Verglas says that he's never given anyone trumpet plant or scopolamine or done anything like that against their will. But it's a very curious email. He doesn't remember how it got sent to the inbox of a pedophile.
Yeah.
So it's very weird. Let's just say that. But I don't know. You know, the more I see all these connections, and the more you know that President Trump is mentioned so many times in the files, obviously Bill Clinton is mentioned so many times in the files, and the more that you realize how much the modeling ecosystem that Melania was a part of was so penetrated by Jeffrey Epstein, and they obviously knew each other. I mean, there were emails that were.
So that's really interesting, because that's what I did not know about the Epstein files or the whole Epstein scandal, was how integrated modeling was. And it makes sense, right? They promised 13 and 14-year-olds, you're going to be a model, we'll help you. They actually align with Ford modeling agencies. All these people should be held accountable. They brought and fed the system, the pretty girls who would have modeling contracts. I guess that in saying it out loud, it seems obvious, but I just didn't know that was part of the scandal.
Email that was exchanged between Melania and Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
If Hillary Clinton has to testify, why not Melania Trump?
Of course. I mean, it's not even, it shouldn't even be a partisan thing. The standard has been set. She is actually emailing back and forth with people within this universe. She should absolutely have to testify. If not, to clear her own name of the innocence that she claims she has. Why wouldn't she want to be able to testify to say, look, this guy was a creep. I came in, I was a young person. These are the ways that he, did whatever with me. Why wouldn't, if I were her, I'd want to testify. I'd be like, I want to be clear to this. I had nothing to do with this guy, or I wasn't involved in his crimes. But they won't. They'll protect her through and through. I don't know that she's, what would she say? Like, this is the thing that I see on the Trump side of things too, also, is that there was a lot of, maybe they weren't putting out the Epstein files, or maybe these 3 million files that we haven't even seen yet that are apparently worse than what we already have seen, which is egregious, is because he's trying to protect Melania. How much more Melania is in there? Are her nudes in there? I mean, I think if you do sex work, you should be proud of it. Sex work is valid work. Cardi B, she owned her shit, okay? She's like, I was a good stripper, I'm a great rapper, and I'm a wonderful mother. Women contain multitudes. Don't be ashamed of that part. But if you were kikiing with Epstein, or helping him find girls, or, lying about your visa application, I mean, according to Trump's policies, those are all deportable offenses.
Yeah. So that's a lot. I mean, I could see the whole, I don't agree with it, but don't depose the president. I actually think if you are a public servant, you should be deposed. But they made the argument that presidents don't have to, face subpoenas and sit down. But Bill Clinton just did. So did Hillary Clinton. And listen, I think it was the right thing to do for Hillary Clinton to have to be deposed, because
I do too.
She was friends with Glenn. I mean, even if just casually, she was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. And I know that she was a +1, but the idea that Chelsea Clinton's wedding wasn't heavily vetted is insane. And she was invited as a privileged guest to the Clinton Global Initiative. And her husband went on Jeffrey Epstein's plane 27 times. And he was at the White House 17 times. So the idea that she had no idea about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell is something that I find very hard to believe. And she did the right thing by testifying. Bill Clinton did the right thing by testifying. Again, we have photographs of Melania with Ghislaine, Epstein, and Trump. We know that President Trump's name is mentioned thousands of times. We know Melania's name is mentioned as well. So if we're going to make a former first lady testify, then the current first lady should testify.
Absolutely.
And the president should as well.
It's apples to apples comparison. It's the exact same situation. And as far as the president shouldn't have to do this or that, or there's some sort of national security involved, old boy was just down Mar-a-Lago running operations in Iran from a ballroom. So like he doesn't do anything to protect national security as it is. So I'm not willing to give you the benefit of the doubt that testifying in the Epstein trials would somehow compromise national security when literally all you and your vice president do is compromise national security. What's the difference now?
Zach, I think they're saying that she should be deposed as the wife, as someone who's had a lot of email exchange and who's in the files, that she should be disposed. I don't think there's a question if she came here. I think they mentioned the visa. She might have got help with the visa, but I'm not sure.
I mean, it's out the window now.
Yeah. I'm just in shock too about all of these stories that are coming out about the number of times when investigators, FBI could have gone further into the Epstein files and pursued leads against co-conspirators, other men, and then just didn't.
I know.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Jess Staley, who's the head of not Morgan Stanley. Which bank was it? Oh, Barclays, before he had to step down. And as we know, Leon Black from Apollo Management, the hedge funder, and now Harry Jarecki, the famous psychiatrist, who apparently was helping one of Epstein's girlfriends with her mental health. And then, according to her, he used that opportunity to sexually abuse her.
Of course, these people are sick. Every day is a new level of disappointment with the Epstein files. And the more that the elites say things like, well, if you knew everything, it would collapse our government. I don't actually think is true. I think it would collapse the old system of elites and establishment. But there are people that are 45 and younger who we didn't do any of this. And we could very well continue to run the government probably better without all of the sort of atrocities at the top. Going back to just the Clintons having to testify, and if the Trumps should, and I do believe that they should be interviewing for competent, serious people. I think it was really unfortunate and a waste of the American taxpayers' money and time that Lauren Boebert was asking questions of the former Secretary of State, right? She has no idea what she's saying. Nancy Mace has no idea what she's saying.
They were elected. Yeah. They were elected.
I understand that they're elected, but I'm saying in terms of this is an actual serious thing. And when you look at what the Democratic Oversight Committee is doing and the people who are leading that, Garcia is very serious about it. Lauren Underwood is serious about it. Summerlee is serious about when they're questioning people. And I'd like to see a similar level of professionalism and genuine, intelligent inquiry into these people, because I feel like you got the Clintons to testify, but you didn't send your best question askers. I would have liked to have somebody who was maybe one of the lawyers on the Republican side who's used to questioning a high profile witness than Lauren Boebert asking about weird shit, and Nancy Mace was even there to say silly things. So to me, I thought that was a little bit of a waste of time, and I was disappointed because I think you could have why didn't Ted Cruz? I know it's a congressional thing, but let me just use Ted Cruz as an example. Ted Cruz can be a very effective question asker. So I want someone like that in there who would have perhaps used the time more wisely and maybe given us some answers that the American people are looking for. This was very circus kindergarten-y, and I'm sad about that too. I think it was a waste of time on both sides.
I think you're right. You only get that opportunity once. And
why not Tom Cotton? Why not Josh Hawley? Why not any of these people who are genuinely lawyers?
Yeah, exactly. They're trained lawyers. But Congress doesn't always attract the best and the brightest. I think that is the top line. And
give me Mike Lawler, I guess. I don't know. Give me somebody.
I don't think Mike Lawler is going to be around for too much longer.
No, I would have taken him over Lauren Boebert, though. I think I was
We have to thank Boebert for her duty. She did stand up to Trump and actually help get the Epstein files transparency.
And I think that is where she is effective, right? Lauren Boebert is a woman who has experienced sexual violence and domestic violence and been told that you're not smart enough to do anything. And I think there are I totally get why people vote for her. And I've actually said this to the Democrats before. I was like, she's a relatable figure. She's somebody that we all have a friend that's kind of like Lauren Boebert, but I don't necessarily
She's
want
like
that
a friend,
friend
girl.
to be the one questioning Hillary Clinton. Like, it's not a matching of wits, okay? Like, love the girl. Good for you. You're representing people that voted for you, and you sometimes really do the right thing. But I don't think that was the right choice for that moment.
Oh, no. I mean, listen, it's Congress, it's House oversight, it's the clown show. Maybe Senate is a little bit better. It's just, it's unfortunate. I think this entire investigation is a sham because when
They're doing it on
Republicans don't.
purpose.
What do you mean?
Do you think they're sabotaging it and doing it on purpose and sending people who are unserious? Because if they sent people who were serious, maybe there would actually be consequences. And in this way, they think they're placating the American public. Look what we did, but nothing really came of it. And they knew
They're the only ones who showed up. If you're on the House Oversight Committee, you can go to these hearings, and that is your right as a member of the committee. But there's only a number of people on the House Oversight Committee. It is traditionally one of the easiest committees to get on.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of freshmen end up on the House Oversight Committee. I believe AOC made her name there. It's a great place to make your name if you want to be a star on TV because you get great clips. Oversight is all about interrogation, like you said. And if you're good at it and you make viral moments, like it's a dream. Carolyn Maloney, a former congresswoman from New York, she would show up in a firefighter outfit during her 9/11 hearings. Yeah, I mean, it's really about it. It really is about the theatrics getting on cable news. They don't have the kind of legislative power that, energy, commerce, the kind
Armed services.
armed services, the ones where, a lot of lobbyists will probably pad your bank a little bit more because you have more heft. So to end up on House Oversight is sort of the place where the freshmen end up. And it's because I hate, this is the swamp. I'm just decoding the swamp.
Yeah, this is the lion's den, the place you go to gladiator it out. Yeah.
I'm saying so it is. And I'm actually just really disappointed that no one showed up from the Republican side to interview Les Wexner. Like, he is the key to all of this, and you guys didn't even show up to interview him. It just shows a lack of interest, a lack of seriousness, really, to get down to the bottom of this. And the financial crimes are so important. He's also been accused of sexual assault by Virginia Giuffre and others. So it's like, why are you not going to sit down with him? He was Epstein's main backer. So, that bothered me as well. Again,
me to see his name around college universities and on buildings, like, there has to be some accountability here. Even if there's not going to be criminal accountability, there has to be more swift social civil accountability. Things like, you shouldn't be a college student and going into the Wexner building. Like, you shouldn't, even at Harvard, it's like that. Like, it's just, and I understand, like, maybe it should take time, but it can't. There has to be some level of public shaming, of removal from society, of societal consequence for our society to hold. Like, there has to be a people reckoning if there won't be a criminal reckoning.
I agree. I mean, that we deserve a fair and open trial on camera. I mean, even Hillary said that this should be on camera. It absolutely should be. I didn't really care for her indignation as to, like, why should I have to testify? It's like, come on. It's just like,
what else are you doing?
Yeah.
Get in there and just do it. Yeah.
Who would be happy to testify? The survivors.
Yeah. Why not them?
Yeah.
This is why I think they're blowing it on purpose, Tara, a little bit. And sometimes on your lives, I have a tendency to talk to you like I talked to you in our group chat. And then this is like forever. But I'm just saying, I think that they're blowing it a little bit on purpose. And I think, like, the American people are too smart for this, because you could just interview the survivors. The Democratic Oversight Committee could hold a public on C-SPAN something. Primetime TV.
Yeah, they're going to do something in April in Palm Beach or something like that. They're going to do, like, at the site of Epstein's house, they're going to have survivors speak. But it's different than actually having a hearing on the House floor, because I think your protected free speech is like next level protection on the House floor. We have to remember, it's Republicans that are controlling the Oversight Committee. They are the ones who have subpoena power unless a number of Republicans vote with Democrats. And so that is what makes this so difficult. And we should just hope, though, that the Democrats in the next Congress, which I assume they will win, that they take this seriously.
I'm keeping a list of things the Democrats need to do if they take power. I'm going to add this to it because the one thing I've been able to say to them that has worked is the American people don't want unity. Nobody wants to bring this country together. We want accountability before reconciliation. So what does accountability look like? It looks like impeachments. It looks like having the survivors testify on the House floor. It looks like taking control of the corruption and putting Epstein files got to turn to Epstein trials pretty soon. That's a pretty common thing people are saying online because I had the opportunity. I ran into Jess, who's one of the survivors.
Jess Michaels.
Jess Michaels, who's one of the
she's
survivors.
The best.
She's a wonderful, wonderful person. We were like passing in the halls of CNN, and I admire her resilience, and I am cautious of how much this country is asking of her and the other survivors to continue to show up in these places where the needle isn't moving fast enough, where accountability is not coming fast enough. Now we're going to bring the girls and the women down to the site of Epstein's house to like have a moment that we hope will.
That just sounds like a horrible idea. Who would want to go back to the scene of the crime? Why can't they go on the floor? And I personally think I've been hearing more and more Republicans speak out. So hopefully it's not them, on either side. Hopefully they come together and just give us what we want. We want to see the files. We want trials. We want accountability. I don't know, bringing them back to the scene of the crime? Am I crazy?
Go viral on television or on social media to continue to keep attention on this place. But we are asking so much of these women that already gave so much. And it can't just be because it's helping a politician. It has to be because somebody's going to jail. Because something is happening. And I am concerned for the nonsense I see and how much we are asking of these women constantly and how little they're getting back.
Agree with you. And it reminds me of when I was in Palm Beach with Virginia Giuffre, and we were, knocking on doors and talking to people from her past, and like her physical reaction, because she lives in Australia. She hadn't been in Palm Beach since her youth. She ran away from Epstein and Ghislaine when she was, I think, 19 to Australia to hide from them. And when we went back to his house and we saw the plane, and she remembered being physically like brutally assaulted in a plane, she became ill. Like I saw her body shake, and it's like, it's re-traumatizing to go back to that place. And essentially, I've been saying this all along, that this government, this Congress, they have repeatedly re-traumatized these women. And I'm totally impressed with their strength, that they've been able to plow forward and push and push and push. It's the sisterhood. It is the strength that they built up together, but it is unfair. It's totally unfair.
Let's not forget that people have limits, and Virginia, for all her strength and everything that she gave to this mission, also had a limit. And I worry about this. I don't want to see anybody else reach that limit either. And so I feel very protective.
Others have. 2 other girls have killed themselves in connection to Epstein. And
I just think we got to be aware of that too,
Yeah. Virginia was out there for so long by herself, for like a decade, telling her story, constantly being told she was a liar, constantly being treated horribly. She was horrified when Pam Bondi put out her depositions and said they were classified. It's just like a dog and pony. It was just a really, like, she saw the dog and pony show, and she actually really hoped that Trump and Elon Musk would do the right thing. I think Elon Musk DM'd her and told her, I'll make sure the files are released. And it's constant disappointment.
They take too much from these girls. And Trump took the election from these girls in many ways, saying, oh, if you vote for me, and telling the American people who also believed this. There are the specific Epstein victims, of course, and then there's the broader class of women everywhere who have experienced sexual violence, who see maybe these women will get some justice, but I didn't, but maybe they will. And then if they can, maybe other people will listen, and maybe this will stop in some way. But it has to stop. Like, there has to be accountability, or we're asking too much of them. And what bothers me so much about Virginia's story is when you talked about how you went to go see the chef and how she wrote in a book and everything, like, used to make her a little sandwich or a little something to eat. Like, as a former chef myself, I know what that means. When we would have a rough night in the restaurant and maybe you yelled at the girls or whatever, you saw them get abused by the general manager on the floor, it was a rough night, you would put up what I called apology fries at the end of the night, which is where like all the waitresses and the hostess would come and they come and eat some French fries and we would all sort of just like have a shift drink and be like, wow, we got through it. And when I heard that he had made her
Carb
like a little-
love.
yeah. When I heard that he had made her a little snack, I was like, you knew, you know, and like, how dare you not help now, right? Like, we're hospitality. You made her a little snack. And how
He made
you
her
can forget
pizza.
that
She
is
wasn't
like
allowed to eat
beyond
carbs.
me. It makes me
Yeah.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're like, yeah, he made her pizza. The details in which I don't, the details in which she told her story to me through Broken and in her book, I mean, I just think everyone really needs to listen to them and to hear her voice.
This is long, just so you know, it's got another 15 minutes. I'm gonna watch it, so I'm gonna watch it with you, but you don't, I just want to give you a heads up. I don't know, I always feel like I always in my head, I'm like, no one wants to see this, Cheryl, but I'm gonna watch it anyway, so I can watch it with you. If you want to hang out, you can. I find it just interesting. I'm just trying to, like I said, if you guys can find other resources that you trust, that you want to, get the information to me, I'm going to drop my email in the chat. But, and I know that this has been going on for a long, long time. I just didn't dig into it. I didn't dig into it until about October myself, when the files were, when the Transparency Act was, I mean, I heard about it and I knew it was probably slimy and disgusting, but I didn't know. And shame on me. So I want everyone to know, to give a voice to those people that I give the survivors so much credit. They keep showing up. They go to Congress. They showed up for the President's State of the Union. God love them and God bless them. They just keep showing up.
I'm sad that she didn't live to be able to do the audiobook for her book.
I agree.
Because, I mean, for Broken, which we spent a lot of time on, and I interviewed her extensively, you can hear her voice. But I do think, it would have been nice, too, for her book to have that instead of an actor. Yeah.
I also think, an Olympic gold medal Michael Phelps level of effort that she gave. And this is where I say people have limits. She's one example of a person who gave to her last breath everything that she possibly could. And there's not any more that we could have expected from her or gotten from her. And I'm sad that she didn't get to see it. But I'm also, there's a little bit of peace in knowing that she's not seeing what's happening now and continuing to suffer under this sort of like ignorant clown show of like, oh yeah, the Epstein files are out. No, they're not. They're totally redacted. No, they're not. We have the girls out on the Capitol. We have them at Palm Beach. Like, get the fuck out of here for real. Like,
yeah,
you guys they're real people and they're doing this stuff for you, politicians, because they believe that there will be justice, not because they want to be a part of your political rise. And I think we're getting a little too comfortable with the Epstein victims being accessible and helpful. And I want to just put a call to action out to anybody who is inviting them on their shows or news channels or politicians. Like, you better be able to give back tenfold what they've given to you. And that needs to be in the front of your mind.
Sister Deb, you're right. Good point. And that's how I feel. And that's why I do want to listen and I want to raise awareness. But God, we ask so much of victims. I mean, enough. And without giving them anything in return, I mean, it makes me sad. And the reason I
totally
said that about the time frame, when I first started in October, I would get to 20 minutes or 30 minutes and be like, end. And I would literally just end the stream. I'd barely say goodbye. And I think it's because when I listen to YouTube, if I see something that is 4, 5, 6 hours, I can't even listen to it because I just can't commit that amount of time. So it probably has to do with like, I'm very goal oriented and meeting awareness of time frames. So that's why I said that, but we'll hang a little bit. We'll hang.
Totally. I agree with you on that. And the way that Virginia is being attacked right now by the manosphere is horrible. And the way that all the victims are, it's just, it's really, it's hard. And that's why they've stayed quiet for so long. It's why all victims
Everybody
of
did.
sexual assault, particularly when it involves different class, men with power, they stay quiet. They don't want to be attacked. And and this is why. And they're trying to spin the narrative. They're trying to say it's a hoax. It's
Please.
incredible.
Like as if
It's
they're not
amazing.
real people.
I'm
I
like,
know.
all I say to all those people is go listen to Detective or Carrie's tapes. Go listen to them. Those are teenage girls from Palm Beach Gardens High School. Or the one next to, I'm not sure exactly which one, but it's the high school on the other side of Palm Beach. It's near Palm Beach Gardens. It's a high school, a pyramid scheme of girls, 14, $200, $300 to bring their friends to Epstein to give massages, and they were raped. And that's not pedophilia to these people. This is not. You could have any woman in the world. Why 14-year-olds?
This new thing seemingly where people are like, well, pedophilia only really relates to the 6 months before puberty. I'm like, no. We're not redefining or curating the definition of pedophilia. It is what it is. You know what you were doing, and I'm not going to like soften it or change it to the biological definition of pedophilia.
Bay Harbor Beauty, this is the question I want answered. Why? Why? I will say I think it's because of the political ties and in that Epstein had, and think of the triangle that we always talk about. It's the elite politicians, the elite criminals, and the elite business partners. I would also say maybe get rid of criminals and do the elite foreign country ties, executives, because I just think they're all tied to him. And I think Prince of Wales makes a really good point. Biden was just kind of out of it. I just think so many people were involved. But I guess the question is, so why now? And I don't know. I wish I had an answer, but I know that from my point of view, it's just the connections. And so that's why I don't think this is it's not, I mean, I will say, I think everyone had political ties to Epstein. I do think Trump, I don't think Trump and all of his people that are in office are in office protecting Epstein files. I think they're in office because of Epstein and the connections that they had. That's what's become clear to me now. So I think maybe that's what's different, is just how guilty all of the different people that are in the administration that are closely tied with either directly to Epstein's files or to international ties who are tied to Epstein files. And I'll make sure I tie this back to the Iran war, because I make sure I do on every show how I'll do it right now. There was a hacktivist group called Hanala Group in 2024 that hacked into the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ada Barak, and got hundreds of thousands of emails that directly tied him as a best friend to Epstein and tied them to Steve Bannon. So I just think there's so much there. It's not a Democrat and Republican thing, but maybe there's just so much information that surfaced as a result. And then we go to a war. Then we go to war with Iran. I don't know. Like, it's all disgustingly tied together. It definitely crosses public line. I'll take a pause here. Freeze frame, thank you for joining. From my own research and my personal professional knowledge and the MSM coverage I've watched of Jeff Epstein files, I think trauma-informed care approach would be beneficial. Yeah, you're right. I think I'm really bad at that. I'm really bad at trigger warnings. I kind of assume when you come on my channel, if I'm talking about the cults or if I'm talking about Jeffrey Epstein, like there should be trigger warnings. And I think I assume people know that, but I shouldn't do that. I need to put trauma-informed care approach would definitely be beneficial. I like the wording of that. Also, I see similarities between everything that's going on in the Epstein world and the cult. I just do. And maybe that's just because that's how my mind now processes things. um, so Trump didn't release anything. Congress passed an act, the Transparency Act, in October. The question is why now? Why the timing, right? Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the discussion. Thoughts on Snowden. Okay, I'm going back to this, Zach. Don't distract me. We're almost through here. We're just listening. If you're just joining now, we're just having a little bit of a learning session on what the latest is with the Epstein files.
Yeah, there's a social definition that we are all subscribed to, and that is not changing. And that is anybody under 18, or the intention of making somebody even over 18 look under 18. If you are sexualizing childlike features, mentality, body types, and whatnot, I actually don't care if you're physically 18 and 1 day old. If the goal was to make them appear childlike, that's still pedophilia, even if that person is over 18. And that's what Jeffrey Epstein was going for. The absolute youngest, the absolute least experienced, the absolute most vulnerable. That's what he was.
He
Like, I
actually
don't like
physically wanted them to look young. Like, he
Right.
wanted them to
Right.
look childlike. Because, like,
Kind of
even
so.
Virginia, when you looked at pictures of her, she was very thin.
Yeah.
She had no curves.
Yeah.
He fed them very little.
So
It was all about control. He didn't want breasts. He didn't want, Courtney Wild, Jane Doe 1 showed up with braces on her teeth. That was the look, the aesthetic, you could say, that he was going for. He
so
was
that's
not,
why I am not going with this.
he was
We're
not
not
interested in
swapping it at
women.
all. Yeah.
He was not interested in women. So I don't know what you call it when somebody is not interested in women and they are not a boy. They're not a boy.
Pedophiles. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a pedophile. If you are interested in childlike people, I don't care actually what their physical number age is. I think that qualifies socially as pedophilia, and I'm not willing to soften it. The other thing I want to say is I wish that the news agencies would get better B-roll when they're talking about Epstein, because I can't imagine how re-traumatizing it is for everyone to see his face everywhere constantly. It's like constantly on social media, you can't scroll without seeing Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell's face. Constantly on television, you can't scroll without seeing their face. And I understand that's how news typically does things, but maybe this is a special circumstance in which we could be showing pictures of the victims instead of the perpetrator, because people are getting so used to seeing him that some of his style is even trending now, where people are like, oh, Jeffrey Epstein used to wear a quarter zip. Like, I don't give a fuck what he used to wear. He used to rape kids. Like, I think maybe there's like some editorial decision people could be making that when we're talking about him, we're showing victims as opposed to him on yachts and boats and private planes and whatever. It's like, I think especially for Gen Z and people who were not alive during this time to have lived it in any way and have like recollection of how, just exploited the millennial generation was, and even parts of younger Gen X. It's like, no, it actually wasn't cool. It's super creepy.
I'm going to try to say this without sounding insensitive, because I'm here for the sexual abuse survivors. That's front and center. That story, the child abuse, the sex abuse, that is horrific in its own. So I don't want to take away from that. I'd like to drill in on the national security front. There was a lot of exchanging of information. That's why Prince Andrews was arrested. There's a lot of international trade secrets being passed back and forth. We know this. We know it was with Russia, Israel. I want in on that. I want someone to do a deep dive on that. So if you find anyone that's doing that, that really piques my interest.
And I think the people who deserve to see their face out there more are maybe the victims, to remind people that this man was a major criminal. And all we ever see him on is in his boat at Interlaken, smiling, looking happy, looking.
It's the wealth porn. It's the wealth porn. And I have always said this was the problem. Like, when I did the Broken podcast with Julie K. Brown and Adam Davidson and Adam McKay, when we spoke, I said, I only want to do this through the eyes of the victims. Right. And we actually X'd out Jeffrey's face.
Good.
On the cover. If you ever go to Broken Jeffrey Epstein, you don't see his face. There's an X over it, because we wanted to make sure it wasn't about him.
Right.
And I literally start the show being like, I don't care about Jeffrey Epstein. Like, I care about the women whose lives he ruined.
Yeah.
Because for so long, these stories are always about the fascination with these men, these catch me if you can characters. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, because he had a jet and it was Lolita Express and he was followed around by beautiful women and then this and that. And it's like, if you get lost in that, you get lost in the truth of this horror.
You're right.
And And that was like a really big deal to me, and everyone on my team was in alignment on that. So
Yeah, well done.
and I actually really think that Julie's reporting at the Miami Herald, like what brought it to that next level was the video work she did with Emily Michaud, who was the producer, because she was the one who got the girls to talk on the record. And that was a really big deal because people knew about the Epstein story and the injustice. It had been written about in the Palm Beach Post and other places, not to the extent that like they were up in arms against Barry Krischer, who was the state attorney at the time, for letting Epstein go on such light charges. It was written about in Palm Beach. It just wasn't a national story until Julie really laid it all out. But critically, I think having those women on the record, having their faces, which took a lot of trust building, that was what changed the story. It brought the humanity to it.
I'm also very interested, and this is what we're talking about tomorrow. I know there are a lot of people, like you said, they get into the wealth porn, they get into the sort of looking at the train wreck of the sex crimes, and they think that that's the limit of it. Jeffrey Epstein's empire has been inherited by people who are running our government and world politics today. Maybe not directly the way you think of like somebody dies and you inherit your grandpa's car, but pretty close to it. There are people out there running parts of Jeffrey Epstein's ideology and his business. People like Jared Kushner, who seem to have inherited some of the Middle East policy and some of the ideas there. People like Steve Bannon, who are still informing the Republicans. Cryptocurrency, the attack on trans people, all comes back to Jeffrey Epstein and much of the way that he was moving and influencing people, to the point that this idea that trans people aren't people comes from Jeffrey Epstein, as it was a trans woman who was one of the first people to accuse him of rape. And his idea being trans people are fetishes, not people. So if they are seeking civil rights, I can't have that because they are fetishes. They are not people.
Well, maybe
just
in
like these girls,
they are fetishes, but not everyone thinks in the world of fetish.
But he did, and he had the power to try and tamp down. And to this day, it continues this idea to marginalize trans people. You notice they never talk about trans men. It's always trans women that these people go after, the Republicans go after, and legislation goes after. And it's because they are folks that he wanted to fetishize and other people want to fetishize and not see as real. So if it's like how back in the day, people couldn't imagine that Black folks wouldn't be slaves because then they're people. And it's like, yeah, they're fucking people. They were always people. Same thing with the way they're dealing with trans people. Same way with the way they're dealing with young women. Oh, these people want autonomy. They want justice. They want equal place in society as me, a wealthy man. I can't have that. I'm going to tamp it down every chance I get. So it's like the more I learn about his influence to this day on the Heritage Foundation, on Steve Bannon, on the right wing, on the manosphere, on cryptocurrency, on geopolitics, on Russia, I'm like, it's still happening. He didn't die that long ago. His shit is still going on. Maybe not the sex crimes in exactly the same way, but the ideology and the world that he seeks to.
I made a note. We're going to do a show on cryptocurrency and why it's bad for you. Stay tuned. That'll be controversial. Warning. I'll put up warning signs for that, but it's bad.
Create this new right wing is not the Newt Gingrich, Ted Cruz right wing of the Tea Party. This is the MAGA Trumpism Epstein MAGA party, Republican party.
I mean, he definitely seeded a lot of ideas with very influential people. And I think he personally enjoyed the conversations with people of power. And when you have that kind of access and influence to those people, you are going to influence the national conversation. You are going to influence the way that institutions carry out various practices, financial, academia, science, just even media. I mean, he had a lot of friends in the media as well. He constantly was talking to reporters all of the time. It's
just what we're living with now. And it's, they're like, oh, well, they were all Democrats back then. I'm like, yeah, they were all Democrats back then. And then why did they become Republicans? They created a new Republicans party, a new Republican power structure that centered Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein's ideals, Steve Bannon, Cambridge Analytica, all that, and Elon Musk, the people who were involved in the situation that the Democrats did not look at as equal, intelligent, or power authorities. And over here, well, we'll just create a whole new structure. It's not that they were all Democrats and now they're all Republicans. Why are they Republicans? And is this truly the Republican Party of Mitt Romney and Ted Cruz and Newt Gingrich and George Bush? Or is it a completely different Republican Party? It is. It's MAGA, which was built much in part by Jeffrey Epstein's ideology, carried out by his friends.
Isn't that interesting? I'm gonna stop that now, but isn't that interesting? That sort of what everyone has been saying now. There's not just the Democrat and the Republicans. It's MAGA, Republicans, Democrats, raging liberals. Like it's almost like we have 4 parties right now. It's so interesting to me. I see that some people didn't like her. I don't really know who she is. If you're in crypto, make sure you get the cash today or tomorrow. Like get it quickly. Get your cash out quickly. Hey, T Bones, thank you for sending Melanie our way. We really enjoyed having her in the chat. You like? Have you seen the cash? Have you taken the cash? It's a pyramid scheme. So take your cash and run. About 100% of it is laundered to fight Middle East wars and is responsible for a lot of criminal activities. It's not a good thing, but I won't tell you that, Bay Harbor Beauty. Just make sure you get the cash. Don't see it on a spreadsheet. Get the cash and run, because it is a pyramid scheme that's going to crash. I'm glad you've seen the cash. That's awesome. Okay, so that was heavy. We did a little bit of the war, a little bit of Epstein files, and it's hard to find because of the wars going on. There's not a lot going on with people actually. Well, there probably are, but I don't want to read the files myself. I find them so disturbing. I look for good summaries or people, the thing that I really do need to do is go deep on not the files. I want to see Bill Clinton's deposition. I think the transcript just came out. I just haven't had time to read it. Give me 1 second. Okay. I told you we were going to do good. We were going to do bad. T-Bones, that's funny. Oh, that's so funny. She's on the right. That's okay. We're safe here. We don't really go in deep with the Karen Reed discussions here. But that is funny. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. So, and it's not that crypto itself is corruption, but the ecosystem that it's built on is linked to an awful lot of fraud. So fraud, Ponzi schemes, and the question always is the pump and dump scenario. When, sure, you can make a ton of money. When do you get out? Anyways, we'll do a show on that. That will be fun. But they do invest heavily in war crimes that have hurt us. But hey, Wicked Racing Esports, thank you so much for reminding everyone we have a podcast at 6. Maybe we'll just stay on. No, I can't. I have to run in a little bit. We have a big sister podcast. I'm very excited for it tonight. We're going to play a game. # we don't usually play a game. We just say we're going to play a game, and then we never get to the game. So that's going to be fun with my sisters. So I'm going to show you something. I thought this was funny, this story. I'm always interested, I'm not going to put it on right now. You know how we are always, make sure I'm getting all sorts of lights. Halfway through my podcast, my microphone shifted. If that ever happens and my sound sounds off, just let me know, because I didn't notice it. Now, I wasn't talking a lot at certain points, so I don't know if you noticed it, but it went from my microphone to my laptop, which is tinny, which you know how I am about tech. So let's talk about the article that I'm going to read to you, because I'm always interested in the new wave of careers, right? We talked about Substack, how journalists now are using Substack. There's YouTube, there's AI. People are shifting their careers to adapt to newer technologies, which I just think is so phenomenal and interesting. And so this article just tickled me. And I think it's always good to end these heavy learning sessions with something fun. So let me see if you enjoy this article as much as I do. it's an article, but I'm going to read it to you. And it's about a crossing guard. She makes $14,000 a month mailing out her musings from her job. Christine Tyler Hill is among a number of creative types who found people still really love to get things in the mail. I hate getting things in the mail. My husband wants to see a bill. He wants to feel it and he wants to pay it with a check. Total opposite. Everything has to be digital, e-paper, no checks, do everything online. We couldn't be more opposite. So I thought this was really interesting. There she is. Hello, Christine. Christine Tyler Hill was working as a designer and illustrator when she decided she needed a fresh way to connect to her city. So she took a job as a crossing guard. How awesome is that? I always see myself doing something like that later in life, just to talk to people. Every weekday morning at 7:30, she stands at the intersection in Burlington, Vermont, ensuring the safe passage of pedestrians, including children headed to a nearby school. During her 50-minute shift, she also takes in the scene, from the daily rhythms of commuters to the familiar faces to the shape of clouds in the sky. Those observations pay well, very well. The 36-year-old has parlayed interest in her daily musings into a one-woman publishing empire, and it brings in about $14,000 a month. Love this for her. I'm so excited when someone is, a small business owner being creative. So Hill is part of a small group of creative types that have found healthy demand for analog subscription services in a world of digital screens. They curate packets of art prints, stickers, letters. She is mailing these out. They use social media to find market to fans, but the real connection happens offline. I'm fascinated by this. So her journey to Mail Club moguldom started in 2023 when she took a crossing guard job, and she began uploading regular cloud report to social media. It included photos of a handwritten note from a child, a long-haired dash hound on a walk, snow falling on a corner store. I think people are lonely. And they connect with people online, and she's taking it an extra step. By the way, I'm reading it. I'm giving my own commentary, so I hope that's not confusing. It wasn't long before Hill realized she had a captive audience. If her updates became sporadic, followers would send her messages asking, when's the next post coming? Last year, after her design work for environmental organizations began to dry up, Hill decided to step up her side gig. She had seen TikTok videos featuring young creators who had started subscription business through mails and wondered, what if I did a mail club? In January, she posted a 7-second clip to TikTok. For $8 a month, she would send out an 8-page magazine with illustrations, observations from her intersection, her art world, and beyond. And within a few days, it had hundreds of thousands of views. 1,000 people signed up. When Hill paused subscription orders, her wait list grew to 3,600. I love that. She says, now I am not this person, but my husband would be, people really want physical things. The response has been crazy. Look at her in her studio. At last count, Hill had around 2,000 subscribers, a portion of whom upfront paid upfront for a discount of 15% on an annual subscription. This is no accident, says a strategist in Toronto. The digital world people have a hunger for physical manifestation. Okay, I want you to see this because this is just not me. Look at, she's mailing out letters. That's so, it's $14,000 a month. Just so basically doing, what YouTube people are doing, but writing it down because people want a connection. Isn't that funny? I just wanted to share that with you. I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. Um, I think that it's incredible for people to be able to find their own hold on, my dog is wrapped in my cord. Princey, my son. My dog is wrapped in my microphone. Did it unplug? No? Okay. People want a connection. They want something mailed to them. I don't, by the way. I would much rather I get mine on Substack now or, you know, through email. I'm an email person. What's everyone say? Everyone's still talking about, Milani, okay. So what are we gonna do with this? Are we gonna do anything? Are we going to, send her an email maybe? Maybe. Do we wanna get out in on it? I don't know. Um Semantic says, "Here in UK, our crossing guards are known as" oh, lollip ladies, men, which are I love that, the lollip, why? Oh, lollipop, not lollip. Can you tell I'm tired? Lollipop ladies and men, I love that. Melanie, I would have voted guilty on a retrial. She's gonna start trouble in my chat, I love it. We won't hold it against you. Karen Reed was freed. It's done. We're all over that. I really like that. I like that. So I know when we're doing these what's going on updates, we'll try to end on something like that. Something that's making people happy and doing their own thing, which I really love. Oh, Bets, you just got here. We just ended it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Look at my husband just brought me in a coffee. Isn't that sweet? That's why I don't actually have to leave my command center because my husband just brings me stuff. Bets, we just did, we've been on here for almost 2 hours. I have to go. We did a segment on war, what's going on. Oh, let's go see what's going on with the war. Everyone stay tuned. Melanie, don't embarrass me in front of my friends. T-Bone, we love Melanie. We're glad you introduced her to us. I live for a great coffee, and I didn't even have to get up. Yeah, my husband brought it in. Now, you'll never see my husband ever. He'll never come on because he's very private, and he's like, "Nope." But, what's a purple Kool-Aid? Oh, the purple Kool-Aid is a new channel. Yeah. Yeah, he is a good man. My husband's a good guy. He's a good guy. Melanie. Yeah, you definitely get street credit. Oh, I missed it. I'm gonna go back and read it. You were banned on YCT. Oh my gosh. Okay, so hold on. Let's go. There was one thing I wanted to check. You guys know I feel really funny about this. I haven't heard about Skip. How's Skip doing? Should we check in on him? I can do it during the day. I don't want to see him at night sleeping. I feel very weird. Isolation. I can never even find him. Hold on. Isolation, yeah. Want to check on him? Do you? Do you guys have to go? I have to go soon. A real man brings his wife coffee. No, you know what the funny thing is? I like it when he makes me coffee too in the morning, which I love the coffee that he makes, but that's okay. He likes dunks too. Okay, hold on. Let's you see that? I get busy reading the chat and I ignore what I was doing. We're just gonna see what Skip is doing. Now, if you know me, I feel like I'm invading Skip's privacy when I do this. I just do. It's how I feel. All right. We can see him now. Do we wanna say hi? Or should we just lurk? Should we just lurk? This is what I always see. It doesn't okay, so he oh, look, he's lost weight. That's good. He's lost 26 pounds. Should I say hi to him? I always feel like I'm interrupting him. I feel like I've missed out on half of what the chat is talking about, so I'm sorry. I didn't know if you guys were still talking about the interviews or what the hell was going on. Ooh, but, that's is a revelation. Ooh, purple Kool-Aid. I'll have to go. It's just I have what's that? Oh, he's playing the guitar. That freaks me out. Did you see me jump? I looked at my dog. He's playing the guitar. I never hear anything from him. Stop. He's got nothing going on. Look at Semantics gets it. I feel like I'm spying on him. I'll do this with my sisters. It really freaks them out. Let me think. I think he needs to know we are thinking of him. Okay. Let's go in there. Let's tell him. He won't see it because he's playing a guitar. Oh my God, Prince of Wales is over there. Zach, what are you on in 50 chats over there? Oh my God. Oh my God, they're pink. Sister, what are you talking about? What's pink? Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Zach,
No
you're
normal
cheating
life,
on us.
no nights off, no distractions.
Is he singing?
No normal
Prince
life,
of
no
Wales.
nights out, no distractions.
Is he singing? I don't know. Do you guys? I'm ready to bolt. I'm ready to bolt if he comes over. I feel like I'm spying.
It's not.
I feel like I'm spying on him. Yes, I saw. I saw. That's why I said Zach's cheating on us. He's already in there. If he's coming over here, I'm aborting. I'm ending this. Really, if I end the stream, I'm fine. I'm just. Oh, I didn't see the comment. No, let me go back. I can't read the comments on my screen because. Let's see. I did see that you posted. Hold on. Hold on, Zach. Yes, I do see. I don't. Oh, who is Cyberchick fresh? Zach, people call me that now. Okay. That's my max. I can't. I'm sorry. That's the max. Do you guys get anxious? What? Let's remove him. Okay. I can breathe. I get so anxious watching him. Yes, run, Cheryl. I have so many monitors. No. Yeah, I guess I could have had it on over there, but I like to use the same browser when I'm sharing so that I'm not ever sharing my desktop. It's a thing. Thank you. You guys are proud of me. I did it. We checked on them. Last thing, anything new with, I don't know what the anxiety is. Anxiety is watching. It's watching Skip. I just feel like I'm invading his privacy. I don't know why we're doing it either. Like, we're like, why are we doing it? Okay. Anything on Nancy before I let you go? Have we found her? Have we stopped? Any updates at all? Let me see. I have to stop sharing because I see him. Okay. Yeah, I can only watch Skip once every 3 weeks for two or 3 minutes. It's a me issue. No one knows about Nancy. I don't think there's been an update. Hey, thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope I do it again either tomorrow or Thursday. Make sure you come tonight for the sister show. It's going to be so funny. Supposedly there's actually a game for game night, but there never is. We never play a game. But join us, 6 o'clock Eastern. See everyone then. Bye.